In 1965, the 176th Fighter Interceptor Squadron of the Wisconsin Air National Guard in Madison transitioned from the F-89 Scorpion to the F-102 Delta Dagger. This would be the fourth primary aircraft assigned to the unit since its creation in October of 1948.
It was designed as an all-weather interceptor. Carried missiles. Some of them carried rockets. They were carried internally. The airplane was capable of about 1.25 Mach. Service ceiling was around 50,000 feet. I think with afterburner it had about 16,000 pounds of thrust and about 10,000 in military, and a fully loaded airplane was about 28,000 pounds with all the missiles and fuel. So not as sporty as the F-16, but pretty impressive. It had a great wing on it. It had, I think almost 700 feet of wing area, so it would really turn.
The 176th faithfully accomplished its air defense mission for nearly a decade. In recognition of the way the unit performed and in response to numerous requests for special event flyovers, Major Neil Udell recognized the potential of using the Delta Dagger as an item of public relations. In late 1969, a precision flying team, Deuces Wild, was formed. Major Udell felt that the Deuces would allow the squadron to honor flyby requests, serve as a recruiting tool, and increase recognition of the mission of the Wisconsin Air National Guard.
Deuces Wild happened back at a time when, in my life, I had a lot of free time. I was laid off from the airlines. It just uniquely happened at that. And so when they were looking for people to fly in a possible Deuces Wild team, I certainly raised my hand. I basically volunteered, said, hey, I'm your man, and because it provided additional flying for me and some activity since I had extra time not working for the airlines for a while. So, and let's face it, what other fighter pilot doesn't like to go fly formation? So, it's just, this is the fun part of flying. So that's how I got involved.
The initial concept envisioned a 4-ship demonstration team, but it quickly evolved into a 5-ship team with the addition of a solo performer. Major Udell would be number 1, flight lead. Captain Dale Eben, number 2, left wing. Captain Dick Van Roo, number 3, right wing. Captain Skip Foster, number 4, slot. And Lieutenant Colonel Dave Hoff, number 5, solo. Lieutenant Colonel John Monsingo was designated as the narrator. Major Dick Manthe and Major Al LeQuay were also assigned to the team, since everyone except Major Udell and Major Manthe were part-time guardsmen. 6 crew chiefs were also carefully selected to serve with the team. Sergeants Mike Byers, Mo Cormier, Denny Scanlon, Ed Folger, Ron Rutz, and Gene Duckert. The first official show of Deuces Wild was in the summer of 1970 at Volk Field, Wisconsin. Major Udell led a 16-ship formation with the Deuces in the lead. After the rest of the formation landed, the team flew a show for the entire unit, and Lieutenant Colonel Hoff did a solo performance. On the third Sunday of September 1970, the team was invited to perform for Battle of Britain Days at Chatham Royal Canadian Air Force Base in New Brunswick, Canada.
That was an honor. It was definitely an honor because you were representing the unit, and it felt good to do that. I was in regular life, I was a pilot with American Airlines, and it was fun to come up and do a little different flying here with the unit, especially something like the formation flying.
After the Battle of Britain were Aero 70 in Rhinelander, Wisconsin, Air Age 72 in Milwaukee, and numerous 4th of July celebrations around the state. In 1970, based on publicity and suggestions from the National Guard Bureau, the Air Force decided to make Deuces Wild an official demonstration team along with the Thunderbirds and the Navy's Blue Angels.
On these formal shows, everything started right on the ramp. We marched to those airplanes, crew chiefs were right there, everybody got in, everybody started engines simultaneously. So the show was, it was far more inclusive and included everything from ground as well as landing, taxiing, recovery. Everybody got out of their airplanes at the same time, whereas some of the other flying shows that were just somewhere, Green Bay or wherever, we simply launched off of here like a regular old mission, formed up, went up there, did the flyby, and did our normal recovery without all the fanfare and the formality of getting ready and the recovery.
Additionally, the 176th Fighter Squadron had won the F-102 category at William Tell in 1972. 4 members of the William Tell team were also Deuces Wild members: Major Dick Manthe, Major Al LeQuay, Captain Dale Eben, and Captain Skip Foster.
At William Tell, as things played out, I was the last guy to fly. I had a refly, and we were just behind. There was one active duty F-102 unit in the competition, which was Keflavik out of Iceland. And so they were leading, we were number 2, Burlington was number 3, and basically the way it worked out, all I had to do was make my takeoff time, and we were going to win.
In 1997, the entire William Tell team was inducted into the Wisconsin Air Guard Hall of Fame in Madison. The final performance of the Deuces took place in September of 1974 at the William Tell Weapons Meet at Tyndall Air Force Base, Florida.
The last major performance was William Tell, and that was pretty elaborate, as we were flying down there, as were other demonstration teams like the Air Force Thunderbirds. And so it was more elaborate in the show itself and in the communications and the length of the show and the number of maneuvers and formations that were performed. And it was probably the epitome of the demonstrations that were put on by Deuces Wild throughout its life.
Later, in 1974, the Air Force decided that the Thunderbirds would be the only Air Force demonstration team, and the Wild Deuces were no more. Today, the pilots of the 176th Fighter Squadron carry on the legacy of excellence fueled by tradition, rigorous training, worldwide deployments, and 24/7 alert operations. Although the Deuces Wild have passed into history, their spirit, dedication, and professionalism live on through the men and women of the Wisconsin Air National Guard, a fine example for future generations.